Hey, Wembley World Entertainment, and is the Penguin Season 2 actually gonna happen? Because that's the headline. Don't take my word for it. Have a look yourself. It's right there. So, the Penguin Season 2 in development, WGA update points to HBO return. Now this is where it's really interesting, is this isn't coming from HBO themselves, this isn't coming from Colin Farrell, this isn't coming from the writers, directors, showrunners, anything like that. It's coming from the Writers Guild of America. So it's like, is this real or what is exactly happening? But as you can see, it is saying that it's going to be happening, so we'll have a look at this, we'll dive into it. So the Penguin Season 2 looks like it could be moving forward, as the Writers Guild of America has updated its listings with a second season of the HBO DC series. So again, this isn't coming from HBO or anybody involved with the show. It's coming from this listing that the WGA has, which you will see now in a minute. So the WGA listing shows the Penguin Season 2 for 2025-2026, with Lauren LaFranc, I think is how you pronounce it, listed as showrunner and executive producer. Sammy Cahills, or Chahils, or whatever, is also listed as a consulting producer. So HBO has not officially announced the Penguin Season 2, so nothing is confirmed yet. However, a WGA listing is a lot more interesting than a random rumor, especially with LaFranc attached after steering the first season. So here, this thing here is the listing. Now you see 2024-2025 and it says Season 1, 8 episodes, The Penguin. But it's right here. Season 2, 2025-2026. Now, this is the thing. There's been no scripts written as far as we're aware. There's been no confirmation from anybody, Colin Farrell, showrunners, other people, anybody, that they're moving forward as of yet with a Season 2. But listing a Season 2 from 2025 to 2026, well, that would have to indicate that it's been worked on. And as far as we're aware, it's not been worked on. So where does this listing come from right here? This Season 2 of 2025-2026. Now, that's not a time frame for when they could release it. That's a time frame from when they're working on it. So they're trying to say they've been working on this for basically a year at this stage, but we've heard nothing. We've seen nothing. So is this real? And of course,
I don't
know. It says here, the WGA update follows months of talk about the show possibly continuing. And that is the thing. They have been talking about ideas for coming back with the Penguin Series 2 and stuff like that. Because we know that there's going to be some things that won't be included in the Batman Part 2, which is unfortunate. The likes of Sophia, her character, from what we understand, won't appear. As of now, we're being told, won't appear in the Batman Part 2. So whether she does or doesn't, don't know. But I think the fact that, what's her name, Zoe Kravitz, isn't returning to play Selena Kyle, aka Catwoman, that kind of removed the idea of putting Sophia in there, because that's how the Penguin Season 1 ended, with her getting the letter from Selena, her half-sister. And yeah, it's kind of like you would have to resolve that stuff, obviously, then in a Season 2 of The Penguin. But I just find this really strange that it's coming from this listing right here on the WGA site, but we have absolutely no confirmation that this was happening. They've never said, like, oh yeah, it's absolutely happening 100%. So it is kind of like, what is actually happening then? So the WGA listing now includes details for the Penguin Season 2, with LaFranc returning and Kailis or Silas, whatever, joining as consulting producer. Matt Reeves previously said the team was in discussions about continuing the story. Obviously, they would want to now get the whole Batman Part 2 out of the way. So the likes of saying all of this is kind of like, okay, yeah, it makes sense that they'd want to continue the story, but they're not going to jump into it before they do the Batman Part 2. So it is this thing of, how is it listed? How is it being said that it's moving forward already when there's no actual indication that that's happening? So here's the other part of the listing where it says like LeFranc and stuff is coming back, so showrunner, executive producer, and then this Sammy dude, or woman, I think it's a woman actually, as a consulting producer. But again, you see season 2 2025 to 2026, so they would be talking about that they're working on this stuff right now, and I just don't think that's the case at all, because yeah, it's pretty much like all down to whether or not Matt Reeves and stuff does with these characters, and are they going to appear in the Batman Part 2? If they do, what happens to them in there? We know that Colin Farrell will be in the Penguin Part 2, in the Penguin Part 2. Well, you'd hope he would be if they do it, but that he's in the Batman Part 2 because he has said it, but he's also said that like it's a very small role. But of course, he would have to be included in there because like everything that's happened with the mafia and stuff is all based around him now. And of course, it's even saying like right here, Farrell has also left the door open, saying he would return if Matt Reeves, Dylan Clark, and Laura LeFranc came up with a strong enough story for Oz. Farrell is also set to return as the Penguin in the Batman Part 2. And of course, we know he hates the process of the makeup. He has very much said that, which was also when he was hinting at like, I'm not coming back for the Penguin. That's not happening. I can't go through that process of all that makeup again, which was funny. But yeah, it's just these listings are like weird. Like, how does the WGA have this type of listing if nobody has actually officially announced this show? Like, if they're saying we're thinking of doing it, we're coming up with ideas for what season 2 could be, but then it's like we're gonna have it listed already that it's in production. It's like, okay, so it's like we're looking at this right there, like, and you can see the names and stuff like that, and it's just like, it's so strange. It really is. So I don't know what's actually happening, whether or not Penguin season 2 is moving forward. Again, it's not going to move forward right now. They're not going to do anything with it until the Batman Part 2 is done and dusted, which they are now filming. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with this. And of course, what do you guys think? Do you want a season 2? Because let's face it, season 1 was great. But do you want a season 2? And do you believe this listing? Do let me know.